when I was a little girl, I would spend my days daydreaming about what my career would look like as a writer. I envisioned myself somewhere on the coast of Italy's Amalfi Coast, on my balcony overlooking the sea as I wrote my first book. I would spend 6 to 9 months there until it was completed before I headed over to the south of France and rent a home on acres of land surrounded by vines and olive trees, and there I would write my second book. Now, while I didn't spend months in Italy writing my first book, I did, however, write my first book. And it feels so good to be able to say that. I can't wait to share all the details of my debut book in the upcoming months. But today we're talking about how I built up my confidence to write my first nonfiction book. Welcome. I'm Aisha, author coach, and self-publishing partner. I help women finally write the book that's been on their heart with strategy, consistency, and confidence. Even though I knew I wanted to become an author when I was young, I didn't always pursue that path. There was even a point in time where I forgot that I wanted writing to be my career. I majored in media arts, mastered in business administration, and spent years in management consulting until it dawned on me one day, hey, Aisha, your life looks vastly different from what you knew you wanted it to look like when you were a child. So I left my corporate job and embarked on this journey of becoming an author. So I'm going to be honest and say that the journey to getting here wasn't as straightforward as I just made it sound. That's a story for another day. It took me years to get serious about writing my book. The desire was always there, as I mentioned before, but it was buried deep down inside of me. It's always been something that I thought one day it will happen, but not today. It was a dream that I knew was attainable, but one that I always believed was in the distant future. I kept it at the back of my mind. One day I'll do it. One day I'll do it. One day I'll do it, until I decided that the time is now. I finally found my confidence. Let's start with the definition of confidence. Confidence comes from the Latin word confidere, which means to have complete trust. So I had complete trust that I can write and finish my book. The first way that I built my confidence to write my first book was by leaning on my lived experiences. My book is about purpose. It explores why we were created and how to walk in our calling daily. I wanted my book to be a guide for those who are navigating, finding their purpose, and identifying how their gifts and talents uniquely position them to make a positive impact in the world. When I first got the book idea, I wasn't confident enough to start because I was still trying to identify who I was and what was my purpose, what is my identity. But fast forward a few years, I had quit my job, I had gone on my own journey to discover what my purpose was. Through that lived experience of going through my own process of purpose, I felt confident enough to write about that because I had lessons learned. I have firsthand experience of what it's like to not know who you're called to be. When I discovered what my purpose was, I then went on a journey of figuring out what it looks like to walk that out every day. And through that, I built complete trust in knowing that this is something that I can talk about and help others do as well. The second way that I built up my confidence to write my first book was by reminding myself that I was being called by God to do this. I told you that I wanted to write since I was a little girl. I knew that I would write a book. I knew that one of my first books would be about purpose because that was a topic I was always curious about. As I grew up, I didn't pursue the path of writing, but it was always at the back of my mind, like a gentle nudge reminding me that one day I am going to write. One day this is the life that I am going to live. One day I am going to inspire people with the written word. One day that gentle knowing that lingered there throughout my life eventually became like an aggressive tugging at me. Okay, the time is now. The time is now. I told you you're going to write a book. Because I knew that was God, I knew that this is something I had to do. And because I was called, I had complete trust that this book idea that I had in my head will eventually become a book that will end up on the shelves of bookstores. Another way that I built up my confidence to write my book was by seeking help from someone who was familiar with writing books, an author coach. Writing a book was new to me. Yes, I have journaled all of my life. I probably was born with a pen and a journal in hand. I've written short stories here and there, but a full-length book 50,000 plus words, that was a huge feat for me. The thought of developing and organizing my ideas and fleshing them out and finally making this dream a reality was daunting to me. So I sought out someone who helps people write books. I did my research and found the right person for me. Working with my author coach helped me build my confidence to start and complete my book. My coach was someone who I can trust, someone who understood the vision of my book. My coach also understood me, my writing style, and the message that I had burning within me. She took the time to understand how I work and personalize her approach to helping me get from book idea to a completed first draft. Having someone walk alongside me during the process of writing was such a confidence boost because I had accountability. I had a roadmap. I had a sounding board, someone to help me flesh out my ideas that weren't completely developed yet. That collaboration, that partnership really built my confidence in starting to completing it. So, to sum this all up, the three key ways that I built my confidence to write and complete my first draft: one, I leaned into my lived experiences. Two, I reminded myself that I'm not only called to write, but I'm called to write this particular message that is on my heart. And three, I collaborated with someone who's familiar with writing books, who can keep me accountable and help me walk through the process of fleshing out my idea and turning it into a completely developed manuscript. I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what steps will you take to build your confidence to write your first book? I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next week.